Collecting dreams, flipping through the past. Every card story making memories last. From Hank to Sandy, every face so grand, trading memories with every 40-cent pack. Mama said it's just paper and glue, but to me, it's a world where dreams come true. Finding that gem in a dusty old pack, a treasure hunt that always brings you back.
Welcome back, everybody. Laptop Hound here with another OOTP 26 update. That's right. We are about a month away. In fact, we are exactly a month away as I'm recording this on February the 14th, 2025. OOTP 26 will be released on March 14th. So if you've never played the game before, or if you're eager to find out more information about what is coming with OOTP 26, go check out the website ootpdevelopments.com and put your pre-order in now to save 10%, whether you play the base game or Perfect Team or both, historical games, current day games. You can save 10%. And if you're a Steam user, well, go to your Steam account, put in OOTP 26, the game should come up, and you can wish list it. And when the game is released, you will save 10% when you purchase it. And also, if you purchase the pre-order, you will be able to get some in-game Perfect Team bonus packs. That's right, including a Hall of Fame Diamond Choice Pack. You will have a Hall of Fame player on your Perfect Team to start off your new year. Well, I've got a lot of news information for you today, including some base game stuff that was released yesterday and a little Perfect Team announcement that many of you have been wondering. We will do that at the end of the show. That's right. One of the most asked questions for Perfect Team will be answered a little bit later on. So again, go to ootpdevelopments.com. You can pre-order the game, which will be coming out on March the 14th. And if you pre-order the Fast Spring copy, that will allow you to play the beta version a few days earlier. That's right. You're going to be able to test out some of the new components of the game starting on March the 11th. Go head over to ootpdevelopments.com and check out all the latest information. And also go check out my first video again from the playlist where I go through the release information from a few days ago from Out of the Park Developments. Let's get to it. Last night, a YouTube video was put out by OOTP, and that was a video featuring one of the devs from OOTP, Will Ba, and Dr. Dynastic, one of the OOTP affiliates. And they went through the development lab version 2.0. So we're going to cover some of the basics with that. If you do want to go check the full video, we'll put the video link in the description box below. Recommend that you catch all the latest from them. Well, Will talked about two major areas to focus on for OOTP 26's Dev Lab. One was more of a clarity issue, and the second was the in-game mechanics. So we're going to break down some of the key things that were talked about in that video. First of all, in terms of clarity, for those of you that have used the Dev Lab in OOTP 25, you're going to be able to see a lot more in-depth progress of your players. There are going to be bars and different colors of bars that show you how your players are doing in the Dev Lab. And you're going to be able to pretty much track them day by day. Want to find out how your player is doing with the program you've put them in? Pretty much every day you can go to the Dev Lab and see their progress. So that's always great. Anytime that we get more information more consistently and don't have to, check in once a month or once every few months, if we can track the progress, that allows us as managers to make decisions sooner rather than later on our players. Here you see a screenshot that OOTP has put out there showing the progress bars. We'll take a look at the more in-depth level a little bit later on. In terms of the game mechanics, one thing that Will talked about was wanting to balance the development of the players a little bit better, a little bit more realistically. And the second thing in terms of mechanics was if you had chosen to develop a player's defense, let's say you had a second baseman and you wanted them to work on defense at second base. Well, any player that you wanted to develop their defensive aspects, the game would automatically choose their primary position. Now, due to feedback and some of the player input, Will decided that rather than having the game decide the position to develop, you're going to be able to develop an area of the field. So if you have a second baseman and you put them in the dev lab for defense, it's going to develop their infield rather than just second base. Same with outfielders. Rather than developing a left fielder, it's going to develop outfield. So that's going to give you a lot more ability to move players around and not just focus on one position of play. And of course, catchers, you can develop a catcher defense as well. So that's cool that you can do that. Something else that Will mentioned was in terms of the settings. Remember that OOTP has one of the most comprehensive settings in the game. You can go and change your injuries, your scouting, your coaching, your suspensions, your modifiers for the game. So many things you can do in Out of the Park Baseball. One of the things they've changed for the dev labs is an easier and a harder setting. For those of you that might be new to the game and are getting frustrated because your players are not developing, because maybe you don't understand the mechanics as well yet, you can change that to an easier. Now, the drawback to that is you're going to get a lot of studs. You're going to get a bigger portion of your players developed, which doesn't make the game fun. But you can always change it to a harder setting to make it a little bit more challenging, which is going to get a lot more frustrated reports. But some people like that. Some people like to make the game as more challenging, the most challenging as possible. And you're going to be able to do that with the different overall impact for the dev lab. So pretty cool there. Here you see a zoomed in version of the dev program. You place your players in and you can check kind of day-to-day updates. You pick the program, a two-strike approach for Mr. Castro, or you have Spencer Jones trying to develop his bat speed, the length of the program, how much time is remaining, and then the progress. So if you see the blue bar, that means the player is exceeding expectations for that program and likely going to meet that expectation, and he's going to get the boost for that certain aspect. You got the green bar, which kind of says the player is on track and is going to likely meet their projection. And then you have the orange bars, players that are a little frustrated, players that are not on track to meet their expectations. So again, you have someone like Mr. Castro with his two-strike approach. He's a little frustrated. And if he continues on that trajectory, he's probably going to drop in ratings for that set of numbers for his overall rating. Also, something that a lot of people have been asking for is a few more updates on the progress. Well, OOTP 26 will have midterm reports. That's right. You're going to be able to get emails for your specific players that are in the dev lab. Here's an example email. You can pause the video if you want to read through the whole thing, but your scout is going to kind of give you an update on how the development is going. And in this case here, this player, Mr. Dominguez, is frustrated. Now, when you get those midterm reports, that's going to allow you to make a decision. You can now remove a player from the dev lab. You don't have to wait for the full time to take a player out. You can cut a player's losses And if they're not developing, so maybe Mr. Castro and Caleb and Spence, Carlos, they're all frustrated. Maybe I say, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm going to take them out of the dev lab. I'm going to put 3 other players in. Well, you can do that. However, there is some drawback to that. That's right. If you do take players out before the time has expired, you're going to basically get a player that gets a penalty. So if he's frustrated and you cut their losses, his ratings are going to decline. It's basically like he's finished the program at a frustrated level. So consider that. But again, it gives you another option. Maybe you do want to cut their losses so they don't get any worse by the end of the program, and you want to put someone else in. So, yes, there are going to be midterm reports for players, these little emails that you're going to get. Very, very cool. Also, with the pitchers, a little bit more control over what you can do in the dev lab for your pitchers. You've got different sliders here that you can see: movement, control, stamina, and again, their fastball, different individual pitches as well. So again, if you like to develop your pitchers, you can have a little more control over how you want them to develop. And their report is going to be in terms of a realized effort. Now, I have not used the dev lab in OOTP 25, so I don't know if this was in the game already. This was just another screenshot from the video last night. And so you can see movement, control, stamina, gives you a little update on how that pitcher is doing in the dev lab. So we have a pitcher here, Mr. Lewis Gill. Their control is minimal gains. Their stamina is minimal losses. So again, just a little bit more detail on how they are progressing. Next up, league-wide emails. Wondering how your rival players are progressing? Well, now in OOTP 26, you're going to be able to track other player development from other teams. That's right. If you're the Toronto Blue Jays manager and you want to see how Aaron Judge is doing on his player development, you may get an email in your inbox that says Aaron Judge is frustrated with his bat speed development. And you're doing a fist pump going, yeah, take that, Yankees. Well, the opposite may take effect too. If you are the Blue Jays and a report comes in that Gunnar Henderson from the Baltimore Orioles is excelling in his power attributes, that may cause you a little concern. And maybe it forces you to make some adjustments to your team. Maybe you have to adjust some of your player development to counter some of the other players and how they're doing. But it gives you that kind of bird's eye view. It allows you to kind of spy in and creep and stalk some of the other players in the league. So that is very, very cool that you're going to get these league-wide emails. Finally, a little bit of an update for you Perfect Team users. I play a lot of Perfect Team for OOTP, and one of the controversies, although I don't really consider a controversy for myself, but many people love the Combinator aspect that was introduced last year, and some people did not like the Combinator aspect. And probably the most asked question for Perfect Team users was, will Combinators be back? And now, thanks to Paul Sporer, the content creator who gave us this information, we have an answer. Sort of. Kind of. We don't have a lot of Perfect Team information yet. That'll come over the next few days and weeks leading up to the new release. But what we do know is that the term Combinator will not be in the next version of the game. That's right. No more using the word Combinator. However, they will still be there. There will be revisions. There will still be some adjustments to kind of the use of these type of cards, but they will not be Combinators. Instead, they're going to be rebranded as variants. No more Combinators. We will now have variants. Again, No other information has been given out about what this will look like, in terms of boosting cards and rarity of cards. And are they still going to have 5 levels of boosts, or is it going to be something completely different? We do not know yet. Again, that information will come out over the course of the next few weeks. So there you go. You do have an answer. Combinators in name will not be back, but a new form of probably boosted player called variants, or a new type of card called variant, will be in the game. Okay, let's end off with the road to release. We kind of have a roadmap here for the next couple weeks of what OOTP will be releasing to the community. And subscribe to this channel. Ring that bell for future notifications, because I plan on doing these little updates anytime OOTP gives us some big news. Last night, again, was the Player Dev Lab 2.0 deep dive. Coming up next Thursday on the 20th is a little deeper dive into how the drafting system is going to work. Of course, OOTP has already announced they're going to make some major upgrades to the base game draft. Scouting will get an overhaul as well, and a little more deeper dive into the franchise series for those of you that like to play season after season after season with your favorite team, or your team with randomly created players, or your historical leagues. You're going to get a better outlook on what that will look like for the new game next Thursday. It will be a YouTube video at 8 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for that. And then a week after that, the following Thursday on February 27th at 8 p.m. will be the big picture. Yes, we will have Rich Grisham as the guest going through what the big picture for OOTP will look like. And I'm sure as part of that episode, there will be some perfect team content for those itching to find out more. Go pre-order now. The game will be available on March the 14th. You will be able to play the beta version a few days earlier if you get the fast spring copy for your desktop, Mac, PC. And if you're a Steam user, you won't be able to play the beta version, unfortunately, but you will be able to save the 10% by wishlisting it and purchasing it within a week of release. Don't forget, go check out the interview. Link is in the description box to the full interview between Dr. Dynastic and Will Bae. Find out more. I've only covered some of the information that they talked about in that video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, I hope to keep them a little bit shorter. Again, please like the video, share it out, subscribe to the channel. And once again, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day. Enjoy OOTP. We'll see you next episode.
Base is loaded, gotta give it a try. Dirt on his cleats, fire in his eyes. Pitcher's hand steady, no surprise. Crack of the bat echoes the call. In this game, we give it our all. Swing, batter, swing. Swing for the stars. Hear the heartbeat of a nation in a crowded park. Swing, batter, swing. Feel the thunder